Let's look at this one. What is stated in the article? Do you know people who don't give up easily? Okay, so they're asking, do you know people who don't give up easily? Give up. What is meant by give up? Hmm? යමක් අත්හරිනවා. give up කියලා කිව්වොත් එම යමක් අත්හරිනවා කියන එක තමයි ඒකේ තේරුම වෙන්නේ. Do you know people who don't give up easily? යමක් ලේසියෙන්ම අත්හරින්න නැති මිනිස්සුන් ගැන ඔයා දන්නවද? ඒ ගැන තමයි මේ අහන්නේ. Do you know people who don't give up easily? ඕනෑම දෙයක් ලේසියෙන් අත්හරින්න නැති මිනිස්සු ගැන ඔයා දන්නවද? මේක තමයි පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ. Do you know people who don't give up easily? Read the article below. What do you learn about this band? හරි. මේ ආටිකල් එක කියවලා මේ බෑන්ඩ් එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඔයා මොකක්ද ඉගෙන ගත්තේ කියලා අපෙන් අහනවා. Students, let's look at this article. A band that didn't give up. Okay, so this band didn't give up. Give up means අත්හරිනවනේ, right? So this band didn't give up. Okay, let's see what they are saying in the article. Writers, artists, singers, and inventors. Okay, what is meant by inventor? Inventor is somebody who makes something new. So when you make the car for the first time, you are an inventor. When you make a fan for the first time, you are an inventor. When you make a balloon for the first time, you are an inventor. When you make a telephone for the first time, you are an inventor. So somebody who makes something for the first time is an inventor. Somebody who makes something for the first time is an inventor. So writers, artists, singers, and inventors often feel discouraged. Discouraged. What is meant by discouraged? Discouraged. When you say discouraged, they lose the confidence. They lose the confidence. They lose the confidence. They feel that they are not able to do something. That's the meaning of the word discouraged. In Sinhala we say අධෛර්යමත් වෙනවා. අධෛර්යමත් වෙනවා. Discouraged. Discouraged. Writers, artists, singers, and inventors often feel discouraged. Discouraged means අධෛර්යමත් වෙනවා. නිතරම. Often means you all know නිතරම. Often feel discouraged. අධෛර්යමත් වෙනවා when others tell them that they are not good enough. Right? They are not good enough. Right? ඔවුන්ට අවශ්‍ය තරම් හැකියාව නැහැ කියලා කවුරු හරි ඔවුන්ට කියනකොට ඔවුන් නිතරම අධෛර්යමත් වෙනවා. That's the meaning of this sentence. Writers, artists, singers, and inventors, people who make new things, often feel discouraged. So when you say discouraged, they have lack of confidence. They have lack of confidence, less confidence. Often feel discouraged when others tell them that they are not good enough. They are not good enough in the sense they can't do things. Others tell that you can't do something. Somebody comes and tells you that you won't be able to speak in English. Okay, if somebody comes and tells you, okay, you won't be able to speak in English, then you might feel discouraged. You might feel discouraged. Somebody else is saying, okay, so this happens to everybody. When somebody tells something about you, saying something negative about you, you feel discouraged. You feel discouraged. Some people give up. Okay, so when somebody says that you are not good enough, some people give up. They just leave it. So if somebody comes and tells a singer that you are not good enough, then they stop singing. They stop trying in that particular field. They give up that career. Okay, they give up that career. A singer, you want to be, let's assume you want to be one of the superstars in this Sirasa or Derana or Hero or all these channels. You want to be a singer, so you want to go to all these superstar programs. But your neighbor, your friends, or somebody tells you that you are not good enough as a singer, right? Then you give up. You give up in the sense you don't try afterwards. You just give up. Okay, you think, okay, yeah, I can't sing. Then you give up. Okay, so that's the meaning of the word give up. Some people give up. Others, like a group of young musicians. Okay, musicians, people who are doing musics. No, they play musical instruments. They play musical instruments, guitar, drum, all these musical instruments they play. So they are called musicians. Others, like a group of young musicians in the 1960s, don't let it stop them. Okay, so when somebody says that you are not good enough, you don't give up. You keep on trying. You keep on trying. So there was a group of young musicians in the 1960s. They didn't give up. They didn't give up. So when others said that you are not good enough, that didn't stop them. That didn't stop them. So that is what is meant here. Okay. In December 1961, a record company executive. Who is an executive? රෙකෝඩ් කම්පනි එක්සකටව් කියලා කියන්නේ විදායක ශ්‍රේණියේ නිලධාරියෙක්. කම්පනි එක මොකක් හරි ආයතනයක විදායක ශ්‍රේණිය කියන්නේ පහළම මට්ටමේ ඉන්න කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි. විදායක ශ්‍රේණියේ ඉන්න කෙනෙකුට අපි කියනවා එක්සිකියුටිව් කෙනෙක් කියලා. එක්සිකියුටිව්. රෙකෝඩ් කම්පනි එක්සිකියුටිව්. traveled to Liverpool කියන්නේ සිටි එකක්. A record company executive traveled to Liverpool, England. In England, there was a city called Liverpool. So this record company executive traveled to Liverpool, England. He went to listen to a new rock and roll band. Okay, he went to listen to a new rock and roll band. So this is a rock and roll band. Now here you all can see in 1961, this is in 1961, a record company executive traveled. So when you say traveled, this is in the simple past tense because this was in the past. 1961 means it's in the past. So this a record company executive traveled to Liverpool. So this is in the past tense. Because of that, you all can see the verb is written in the simple past tense. But here you all can see, even though it is in the past tense, they haven't used was. No, they have not used was or were. Okay, they have not used was or were here. Why? Was or were, it's not used here. Why? The reason is when you use a verb, okay, when you use a verb, if you use was or were, then what happens is the verb has to be written in the ing form. A record company executive was traveling. If you use was, then it has to be traveling, was traveling. Okay, that means past continuous tense. But here this sentence has to be written in the simple past tense. When you write a sentence in the simple past tense, if a verb is there, then this was and were are not required. Okay, they are not required. A record company executive traveled to Liverpool, England. Okay, traveled to Liverpool, England. So was and were are not required. Simply you write a record company executive traveled to Liverpool, England. He went. Okay, so when you say he went, this is also in the simple past tense. Subject is he. After that, the verb is used in the simple past tense. So here also you all can see there is no was or were. He was went. You don't like that. Write like that. Some students write like that. He was went. That is wrong. Because if you use was is a be verb. After a be verb, if you are writing a verb, then that verb has to be in the ing form. So he went in the simple past tense. After the subject, you simply write the past form of the verb. In the simple past tense, after the subject, you simply write the past form of the verb. He went to listen to a new rock and roll band. Okay, so this is a new rock and roll band. So he went to listen to this particular band. The executive thought. So when you say thought, that is also in the past tense. Executive means the vidayaka shreniya niladhariya. The executive thought, he thought the band had talent. Okay, band had talent. So this is also past tense. Why? Had means that is the past form of have. No, have, had. The executive thought the band had talent and invited. See, invited is also in the past tense, simple past tense. So here you can see in none of these places was and were, they are not used. They are not used. Without using them only, these sentences are written. Why? Because these sentences are written in simple past tense, and verbs are there in all these sentences. So when verbs are there in all these sentences, you don't have to use was or were. Invited them to an audition. Okay, audition. Audition. What is audition? Audition in London. Okay. Now, when you, okay, let's assume you want to be a singer. So you want to go to this Sirius Superstar or Therana Star, Hero Star, all these stars you want to go. So when you go there, first they do an audition before you sing live on TV. They do an audition. Audition means that's an initial checking. They want you to sing, and there will be a panel of judges. They will check whether you can sing or not. Okay, so for musicians also it's the same case. They go, they play their instruments, and there will be a panel of judges. They will check whether the band is good enough or not. So that's called audition. That is the audition. Okay, so invited them to an audition in London. Invited them to an audition in London. The group went. Okay, so when you say went, they also, you can see it's a past form of go. It's went. The group went to London and played. Played means that is also in the past tense. Played on New Year's Day 1962. Okay, so the group went to London and played on New Year's Day 1962. After the audition, they went home. So this is also in the simple past tense. You all can clearly see they means is the subject, and after that the verb is written in the simple past tense. They went. So was and were are not used in these sentences. They went home and waited. That is also in the simple past tense. Waited for a phone call. They went home and waited for a phone call. They didn't hear. So when you say didn't hear, that is past tense negative. No, simple past tense negative. They didn't hear news for weeks. News for weeks. They didn't hear news for weeks. For weeks කියලා කිව්වොත් මෙතන තේරුම තමයි සති ගාණක් තිස්සේ. සති ගාණක් තිස්සේ. For weeks කියන එක අදහස් තමයි සති ගාණක් තිස්සේ. For weeks සති ගාණක් තිස්සේ. They didn't hear. They didn't hear. So didn't means that's a negative form in the simple past tense. They didn't hear. So what you need to remember here is when you use didn't, then the verb has to be written in the present form. See here. Here means that's the present form. They didn't hear. Didn't. Didn't is the negative form in the past. If you use did in the past tense, you need to remember the verb has to be written in the present form. They didn't hear any news for weeks. Finally කියලා කියන මොකද අන්තිමේට finally the company executive told, that is also in the past, and the company executive told the band manager guitar groups are on the way out, Mr. Epstein. Right. So the executive of the company told the band manager guitar groups are on the way out. Okay, so that means guitar groups are not to be there in, that means it's the guitar groups are not that fashionable. They are losing the popularity. On the way out means they are losing the popularity. People are not that much interested in all these guitar groups. That's the meaning of the phrase on the way out. On the way out, they are going to be unpopular. That's what the band manager had told. Hmm? Finally, the company executive told the band manager. The company executive told the band manager, guitar groups are on the way out, Mr. Epstein. So the record company didn't give. Okay, didn't give means that is also simple past tense negative. No, didn't give. So once didn't is used, you can see the present form of the verb is used here. So that's the rule in English grammar. We have already learned all these rules, but I'm just reminding you all. When you use didn't, the verb has to be written in the present form. Didn't give the band a contract. Normally normally when you want to play, let's assume you want to do some recording for a particular company, they sign a contract. So in the contract, all the terms and conditions are there in the contract. So as per that only, both the parties will do things. Okay, so that is what is called as a contract. Contract. But the band didn't give up. Okay, so this band didn't give up, right? Didn't give up. Give up means, you all know the meaning of the word give up. That means they don't stop doing that, they continued, they keep on doing that, they continue to do that. That's the meaning of the word give up. They didn't give up. In the end they signed. When you say they signed, that is also simple past tense. They is the subject and the verb is written in the simple past tense. They signed a contract with another company and became, that is also simple past tense. Became, and became very famous band. Became a very famous band, the Beatles. Okay, so they are talking about the band Beatles. They are talking about the band Beatles. Okay, so this is a story about a band that didn't give up, in 1960s. In 1960s. Okay, so here they have given the meanings of these words. Give up means stop trying. Yes, you stop trying. That's the meaning of the word give up. Inventor, someone who designs or create new things. No, inventor means somebody who creates new things for the first time. Or somebody who creates new things, right? Invent. Discouraged means not confident to try again. That's the meaning of the word discouraged. As I said earlier, you lose your confidence. So that is what is meant by the word discouraged. Executive, person in a high position in a company who manages and makes decisions. Yes, so when you say executive, that person in a that person is in a high rank in a company. Okay, vidayaka shreniya niladariyak, in Sinhala we say vidayaka shreniya niladariyak. For that person only we use the word executive. Audition, short performance given to show ability. Yeah, a short performance given to show your ability to do something, that is an audition. Out, not fashionable, not popular. So this one, on the way out, means it's not that fashionable or popular. Contract, written legal agreement. So when you say contract, it's a written legal agreement. Agreement. Agreement means ekangataavya, right? Ekangataavya. Okay, all right.